Let us begin now with a prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bunaktu Sahaviryam Karva Vahai Tejasvina Vadi Tamastu Mavidishavadhai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Father, Mother God, we humbly bow to you. We bow to the lineage of Kriya Yoga masters. We bow to the living power of God within you all. We ask the presence of the masters during this satsang that we may be open to love and learning in this time together. I'd like to add some thoughts from Gurudev found in the Art of Living and Giving series to add to our prayer. One thing needed in life is love. We do not know what love is or how to love. Love is complete surrender to the beloved. The more you sacrifice and the more you cut off your animal qualities, then you will feel more love and more compassion. If you love yourself as the power of God, you will feel God in all. Through meditation, you will perceive pure love in your heart for God, for everyone, and everything else. This love is love without attachment. You can love and serve all with humility, without expecting anything in return. Amen. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in our Kriya family. I'm speaking to you today from Santa Barbara, California. It's early morning, and I welcome you to this from the seaside community. As you might expect from that opening of Gurudev's, I will speak today about love. Now, a favorite line of Gurudev's we all remember is love, love, love. So I personally am continuing to learn and grow in love and want to share some of the ideas on how you also can deepen in love. And I'll not rehash my talk that you may have heard earlier about love, but add a little more dimension and practical ideas from my growth since then. I opened with the beautiful words of Gurudev on love, and he was a master of love, as is Guruji. He was always staying in the fontanelle, and he directed us to do that. We were to watch every breath and to watch and recognize the soul as the real doer of all our activities. Now, I'd like you to remember these points and practice them as we listen, and as you listen to the talk, and always. There is no better teaching from the Guru, and I cannot top it. But I find that we're all practicing together, and we're here to serve and help each other with tips and stories from our own understanding as we travel this path. So keep Gurudev in mind. I had an epiphany a while ago. I was sitting for meditation and my mind became kind of active, and I found I was questioning God and what is the meaning of God and what is the word God, and it just kind of went in this free-form bubble. It was really brief, but I was aware that something was happening. Then everything cleared and the thought came to me, God is love. It was like there was a big equal sign. Let me show you what it was like. I saw it in this dramatic way. and I could feel it. And so I was no longer questioning what God may be or may not be. And it felt like something that I could really get on all levels. It was sort of a hit me in the head kind of tangible thing. Now, I saw it in this no-nonsense, bold font, but the same message also works in this gentle, loving font. God and love are equal. They're interchangeable. Now, we needn't be afraid of one word or the other, or use one or the other, even though sometimes out in public, some people don't like to use the word God. So embrace it with love. They are the same. Each of us will have our own font and our own voice and our own embodiment for love and for God. Remember that love is personal and it's felt in the heart. Now, the Bible has several passages that address God as love. 1 John 4:8 says, but anyone who does not love God does not know God, for God is love. And 1 John 4:16 says, we know how much God loves us, and we have put our trust in his love. God is love, and all who live in love live in God. God lives in them. As humans, we all are given free will. Following a master on a spiritual practice is a matter of choice. Not everyone makes this choice, and we have. So the scriptures and Kriya Yoga masters direct us to love every breath. Now that's about 20,000 opportunities each day to choose consciously to watch our inhalation and our exhalation. Now, the promise is that loving God in this conscious way will bring positive results, spiritual evolution, and awareness that we are fully one with the soul right now. Gurudev reminds us to love, 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 and that God is as close and as intimate as our every breath. And without our breath, our marvelous life is over. He would say, you are a dead body. I find this intimacy with God to be love. It is the grace of being aware of the breath that brings us into the present moment, 100% in the here and now. This is where we can sense that it is our soul and the divine working through us. Love is the spirit of God. Isn't it wonderful to notice the difference when you actually find that you are in the moment, present with the breath? There is a peace and a freedom from the endless noise of the past weighing on us and the future calling to us. There are so many distractions when we are living outside of the present moment. I know that I experience life in a brighter, lighter way when I'm in the present and aware of each breath. It's joyful. This is where we want to be. I am able to experience the Holy Spirit moving through me at those times. Now, I decided to challenge myself one day, and I made a commitment to stay in the breath, conscious of every breath, one day while I walked several blocks to my community garden plot. It shouldn't be too hard, right? But I made that challenge. Now, on the way, I encountered a woman who was looking at a flower. She was admiring this flower. I stopped and we looked at it together. We really looked. Now we talked about the wonder of nature and that this little flower could carry such beauty while struggling its way through the tiny crack in the sidewalk. God was with us, and we blessed each other when we parted. Now, without the awareness of the moment, I could have easily passed her by and missed the beauty of either herself or the flower. We often miss the magic of the opportunities we are given by being other than in the present. It's so easy, but we do it all the time. Now, God can be thought of as beauty or peace as well. But let's stay with my epiphany that God is love and continue to explore how we can be aware to consciously choose to do everything with love and stay in the presence of God. It's up to us to build these good habits. I have another story to share about an experience that impacted me recently and shifted my outlook towards being more loving. I was facing a difficult conversation with somebody in authority that I respect. I had something important that I wanted to say, and I really didn't know how to handle it, what was a delicate subject that seemed on something that we seemed to have differing opinions on, how to move this forward. Now I centered myself and I preferenced that the conversation would be, I didn't know how it was going to go, but that what I would say was with love and about love. Now I checked to put any criticism aside and ensure that I was centered in love when I spoke. And I proceeded to say what I wanted to bring light to the situation. I just went into it hoping for the best. Now, this response was that the situation and the decisions being made were very complex, but that I was not to worry because it was not about love. I understood the response and felt clear. But later, I heard that line echoing in my head. It was not about love. And I thought, not about love? Why not? The question, why not, became my call to action to emulate the masters and consciously model their love. I believe that when we are asked to follow the masters, that also means to consciously live in love, to be the reflection of the divine. When we see that something is not about love or feel that love is missing, let it be our call to action. As yogis, we are called to witness for love. This is not to confront or challenge others, but a call to stop and understand by shining a light in the direction. We are called to connect with our higher self and to be the love that's missing. Guruji speaks in his book, The Changing Nature of Relationships, and I will quote him. Communication is essential to the development and maintenance of a positive relationship, but we must speak with love, consciously and carefully, taking into account each other's feelings. A wrong word can bring about misunderstanding. It is best not to say all that we think, but to think all that we would say. Now, a lie or an untruth can be highly detrimental, as once faith is diminished it is almost impossible to reestablish trust. We should strive to build strong, firm roots born out of love and mutual understanding. This can be very tricky in our highly charged, now this is me again. This can be highly tricky in our highly charged and divided times. We must be very careful to not judge another with differing views or to let our ego convince us that we are right and they are wrong. In these situations, it is best to be fully centered and turn to wonder. Wonder what brought the other person to this opinion. Wonder what this action was about. Turn to wonder and wonder how you can better understand them. Love rather than engage in any conflict. Now we know the peace we gain from meditation, and we can know the power and beauty felt in nature, or with our families, or in doing an activity that brings true joy. There is a different quality to our perception when we are in the present moment engrossed in God, or knowing that God is the actor and the doer in all our actions. The problem with being in the human body is that when we are not in the God state, it's like we were in a fog of the lower centers, or that we're asleep and we don't realize where we are. It takes great will to be present enough to ask, why not? Where was I when we find ourselves lost in habits or operating from an overactive ego? Choosing Kriya practice and awareness will bring us back to the present and to God consciousness. Now let's look at another example of how we can witness or monitor ourselves to keep love and God as our priority as we deepen our habit to stay in God consciousness. Gary Kraftsaw is a yoga teacher who outlined some excellent ideas in a Yoga Journal article published in 2008. His thinking is right along with what I want to share with you today, and I will draw from his thoughts. Now we learn in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras that tapas, svadhyaya, and ishtana pranidhana is Kriya Yoga. Now this threefold practice is normally aligned with specific practices, but they may also be used to understand all of our relationships and activities. Let's look at svadhyaya, self-study specifically. Svadhyaya represents the process for us to assess where we are at a given moment in time. Self-inquiry is a valuable tool we have to find meaningful, important answers to questions like, who am I? What are my priorities? Am I loving and listening to others? Am I watching my breath? What are my shortcomings? Now, I find that sometimes I'm operating on cruise control, acting out of habits. Now, it is important to take time to reflect on these habits and where they're leading us, and to redirect them back to God. Stephen Covey points out in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, that if the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step we take gets us to the wrong place faster. We need to assess. Here we go, just one second. I want to show you a slide about this. I'm not seeing. Share screen, okay. There we go. Okay, so Stephen Covey says, if the ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step we take gets us to the wrong place faster. So we need to assess that our habits are taking us where we want to go. Now, the sacred texts and mantras and the masters can be our guides for self-study, but Svadhyaya also is a practice that we can use for all of our activities as mirrors. We can use these mirrors to discover something important about ourselves and use this valuable information to gain greater self-awareness and correct our course. Practicing Svadhyaya is a way for us to look at the ripple effect of how we treat others and how people respond to us. Self-inquiry lets us understand something about how our habits are guiding us. We can adjust as needed and stand in love. Mirroring also lets us reflect back the positive attributes such as gratitude and beauty and light when we find that that's what we are projecting and see in another. We need to put our priorities correctly in relationships. When we put them on when we know what we put into them is more important than what we get out of them, our whole life will transform. Let me try that again. When we focus on what we are putting into a relationship rather than what we are getting out of it, our whole life will transform. We'll see others as teachers and allies who are here to help us discover and experience our higher self. Very important. In this way, everyone, everything, and all our activities can be an opportunity for us to see more deeply who we are and how we operate with each other. From here, we can begin to refine ourselves and become more aware and more loving in our behavior. This is how we will live in the truth that we are the living power of God. Now, coming back to changing nature of relationships, Guruji says, to love someone does not mean to be possessive, which is a negative feeling derived from insecurity. Love is to allow the other person to grow. Doubts are great obstacles to a healthy relationship. And once doubt enters the heart and mind, confusion and bitterness will follow. He continues to direct us by discussing the difference between worldly relationships and loving God. He says, devotion to God is a state of supreme love when a person's thoughts, words, and activities are always tuned to the divine. In reality, we are always one with God, just like a wave is part of the ocean. But sometimes, out of imperfect knowledge, we forget our bigger role and belittle ourselves unnecessarily. Human relationships are ordinarily emotional, but when we turn towards God, our emotion is converted into devotion, and our passion for life becomes compassion for all living beings. Oh, we missed that one. Gurudev says, change is in our hands. We all have come to change our lives. It is in our hands. The only thing that is needed is our true desire to change. This creation is the desire of the divine, and we all create and recreate ourselves with deep desire. We are to be alert and stay in the fontanelle. With each breath, we can wipe the slate clean and start again. Each inhalation is new life. So with me, let's remember that God is love. And do the self-inquiry and ask, why not? When feeling that something is not about love. Breathe and begin every moment again. And when in doubt, turn to wonder. There's a lovely quote that I'd like to share found in Guru Dev's Nectar Drops. Love bears. Love tolerates. Love is not resentful. Love requires patience. Love gives oneness. Love is kind. Love is sweet. Love is God. Without God, there is no love. So I'll close with a song I learned long ago from the teacher Ramdas. And we'll watch Guruji as I sing it. More love, more love, more love, more love. The heavens are calling, the angels are singing. Oh, Zion, more love, more love. How can you say you love God whom you've never seen when you can't love one another whom you see every day? How can you say you love God whom you've never seen when you can't love one another whom you see every day? More love, more love, more love, more love. The heavens are calling, the angels are singing. Oh, Zion, more love, more love. Thank you. Let's sit now for our general meditation. Taking a comfortable position with your spine straight. Shake out any tension you may have. Bring your awareness to the breath. The point between the eyebrows, so that your breath is coming straight in and activating that point. You might take your breath also to the fontanelle. This is your opportunity. You've probably missed several of those 20,000 breaths, but now this is where you're going to commit and focus on staying with the breath. As you pull your attention into the present moment, you may feel some greater sound or light or vibration. Follow that. This is another way to deepen your practice. Don't miss a moment of the miraculous connection with God. This is your soul guiding you. Let us deepen our breath a little more. Sweep through the body. Go down through the spine. Making sure everything is relaxed, activated, cleansed. Use your breath to take you down into the heart, into the belly, all the way to your seat. Let us remember the masters, Paramahansa Pragyanananda and Paramahansa Hariharananda. Paramahansa Yogananda, Swami Satyananda Giri. Swami Sri Yukteswar and Rupendranath Sanyal. Lahiri Mahashaya. Babaji Maharaj. Your own favorite saint or sage. This is your practice. Bring your love, your font, your person to it. Who do you love? Who guides you? And remembering the benevolent creator. Experience with love in your whole body. Now let's take a long, slow, deep inhalation, and we'll bend forward in a bow. So however you can do this, we'll inhale, slow, long, deep, bend forward, and exhale. Let's inhale, slow, long, deep, and sit straight. Perceive that change from just that simple bow. Let us take some more long, slow, deep, cleansing breaths. We'll take 12 breaths. So inhale, long, slow, deep. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Inhale. Long, slow, deep. Pause. Exhale, love. Pause. Inhale, peace. 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 Pause. Exhale. Now we'll sit for silent meditation. Maintain a relaxed position. You may watch the breath or just let the breath go. But if your thoughts overtake you, come back to the breath. Enjoy the peace of this moment. Coming back now into the stillness of the moment. Perceiving the peace and calmness in your body. This is the real you, Baba would say. Try to keep this state as long as possible. Continuing to sit. Refrain from talking. Keep the after effects of your practice. Maybe move into deeper Kriya practice at this time. We've connected in a beautiful way in this satsang. I offer you my deepest love. I'll close with some words from Paramahansa Yogananda on love. True love is divine, and divine love is joy. The more you meditate, seeking God with burning desire, the more you will feel that love in your heart. Then you will know that love is joy and joy is God. I give you my deepest love, and may you go and love throughout the day. Challenge yourself. Ask why not. Use your 20,000 breaths each day to connect, to be with God, to be in God. God bless you all.